What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxy music, and we're continuing with the 1975 album Siren. Thank you as always to Seb and to the others who are following this larger deep dive. And the next track is Just Another High. So of course, high, it can mean different things. It can be a zenith of feeling and emotion. It can of course be a neurochemical high. I would expect maybe it to function on multiple levels. I suppose it could also relate to sheer altitude. I find that less likely. But the use of just is interesting, and also another. Like, just seems to downplay the significance. It's nothing out of the ordinary, or at least it's not unprecedented. It's just another high, and perhaps suggesting that it is no more compelling or interesting than any other high. And another means this is something which has been either ongoing or at the very least regular or periodic. So the idea of it being one in a long or at least multiple succession of highs. So yes, put that all together. I don't quite know what to make of it, but let's give it a listen and see what I can catch. This is Roxy music. The song is Just Another High, and it's from their 1975 album Siren.
Maybe your heart is aching. I wouldn't know, now would I? Maybe your spirit's breaking up. I shouldn't care now, should I? Maybe you're thinking of me. Well, I don't know, now do I? If only you knew how I feel. Wish I could die, now don't die. I'm just another crazy guy. Playing that love was another high. Just another high. Couldn't believe in my eyes. You drifted into my life. But marriage is made in heaven. Can they survive in this life? Surely it came as no surprise. Love was too hot to handle. Well, I really blew my cool, and you just blew out the candle. Didn't you try just another high? Didn't you sigh as you waved goodbye? Just another high. Maybe tomorrow's not so clear. Still I remember that night, singing to you like this is my only way to reach you. Though I'm too proud to say it, oh how I long to see you. Shattered my dreams like your goodbye. Scattered my hopes, they fill the sky. Desolate of mind, I'm just another crazy guy. Playing at love was another high. Just 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 another high. Such a crazy high. Just another high. Just another high. Maybe I should start anew. Just another high. Maybe I'll find someone who just another high. Maybe love me like I love you. Just another high. Maybe I'm too stuck on you.
Like a minute ago, I thought it was fading, but a very gradual fade nonetheless. But it's interesting, like, there's still unmistakable elements, especially Fairy's voice, that would let you recognize it right away as a Roxy music tune, but it's less eccentric and unpredictable than a lot of their tunes. It just got into this groove and kept going with it. So I found it very compelling sonically, but as I said, it was less wild than a lot of their other tracks. And lyrically, I feel like it's more straight away than some of their other ones, where even when I hear some of the words and lines, it's like I'm not quite sure how to take that. So yeah, it sounds like he was just playing at being in love, but then ends up getting hurt by it. I like how it opens with a series of kind of dismissive rhetorical questions, like, wonder if you're thinking about it. Well, I wouldn't know that, would I? Like, they all kind of have that, apparently I'm hungry. But yes, they all have that form where he speculates, wonders about something, and then indicates that there's clearly separation. Like, he's talking to her, but she's not here. She's not listening. She's not in his presence. And so it's all sort of, these unanswered questions, and accentuated in that regard by these rhetorical questions. I wouldn't know that. I don't know that, do I? So, yes, it sounds like there was a severing, and that eventually we learned she was the one who waved goodbye. So it sounds like maybe the title phrase of Just Another High, it's kind of like on both sides. Like, he maybe entered into it with that kind of vibe that, like, hey, it's just something that'll be fun. It, might be a good feeling. There might be a, intimate connection. And then he's kind of left holding the emotional baggage. And it seems like he's saying, like, you were the one for whom this was really just another high. And I'm just, like all the other crazy guys, or something to that effect. Meaning, like, not only is he saying he's crazy maybe for trying and for thinking that, he could figure out love in a way that so many other people haven't, but even more specifically, he might have been one of a string of partners that this woman had who she left high and dry in an emotional sense. So I thought maybe it was, number one, Just Another High was on both sides of the equation, though maybe in a different way. And secondarily, he was another crazy guy in multiple respects. But yeah, again, it sounds like he's left feeling kind of broken afterward, but he is sort of like trying to contextualize it or say that, well, this is what happens. You get high and then you crash. You have a euphoric experience, but then kind of you fall back to earth, and things are more complicated in reality. So it feels like that might be essentially the emotional arc that he's on. But if that's true, then I guess on some level he's putting the pieces back together by trying to understand what happened, which is the first step, I suppose, to moving on or leaving it behind you. But yeah, I enjoyed the Sonics. Again, kind of mellow and just moving along. I will say there was a moment where it sounded like there was a sitar, but it was maybe like a keyboard sitar or something. I wasn't sure. Like it had a slightly less straight away sitar sound, so maybe it had an effect on it. Maybe it wasn't a sitar. It was just like, a guitar or something played in that way. But yeah, definitely that brought in a particular flavor. There were some strings in there, like, for lack of a better word, like Western strings, like bowed strings, I suppose is the best way to put it. But they were more like accompanying or, accentuating certain moments. They weren't like a mainstay of the sonic configuration. But yeah, a cool tune, a longer one. I want to say like 6-7 minutes. Yeah, over 6, under 7, so right in that little window. But yeah, it sort of breezed by, and as I said, for like a minute before it ended, I thought like, oh, is it fading? No, it's not fading. Is it fading? No, it's not fading. And then suddenly it was very gradually fading. So yeah, a cool tune, and I'm curious to hear any insights people have, whether the lyrics, something has eluded me, or if it is more or less what I'm thinking. Again, I like Ferry's voice. He always has a nice touch on his voice. It's not one of the crazier ones, meaning he's not doing that warbling kind of vibrato that he does as much, but it's still unmistakably his voice. So yeah, like, I guess his voice and the sonic arrangement overall, undeniably and unmistakably Roxy music, but perhaps less so than when I've said that in other reactions from them. So let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.